Hello there. So we're almost done. This is pretty much the final unit, the final video for sine numbers. And this video is actually pretty straightforward. I just want to do some higher level questions that are not necessarily elaborated as much during the traditional curriculum. And I just want to emphasize the important parts of this unit by using these questions. And so these questions, you'll see that they go back to our previous knowledge on what we already know, but they build on it constructively and try and create a more foundational question, a more thorough question. So let me show you exactly what I mean. Um, so here is the very first question that we will be working through. Um, as I said before, sine numbers combines a hybrid now of a calculator technique and a non-calculator technique, which is in contrast to previous years. Nonetheless, I would like you to first solve these questions um, without a calculator, and then afterwards check your answer with a calculator. And don't worry, we will go over how to do both of those things during the take-up part of this video. So here's your first question. It is negative 4.4 times negative 5 over 11 times 2. And you have 5 minutes to work through it, and at the end of the 5 minutes, we will take it up. Good luck. Okay, so that is time. Let's go ahead and take this up, and again, we're going to take this up using a calculator, without a calculator, and then we will go over exactly how we can use a calculator, and of course, you know this, how to use a calculator to get the final answer. So let us go ahead. Let me select the same color pen here. Okay, so first things first, as I said, when we're working with fractions, we always want to solve the numerator. Leave this line alone, and then solve the denominator. Right? So that is the same procedure that we're going to use today to solve this question. Let's go ahead and do that then. I have at the top here negative 4.4 times negative 5. And of course, this is a difficult question to kind of just do off the whim, but we can do a quick short division here. 4 times 5 is equal to 20, so we have a 0, and we carry a 2. 4 times 5 is again 20, plus the 2 is 22. We can put the decimal in, it's 22.0, but of course we know that's just going to be 22. At this point, we can also handle the sign. Let's put a number 1 there so you know what I'm talking about. The sign in this case is just going to be positive because we have a negative sign right here and a negative sign right here, which both just cancel out, right? So we have a 22 on the top. Let me just write a better 22 for you. Okay, on the bottom, of course, let's do that. We have 11 times 2, which is equal to 22, and 22 over 22 is equal to 1, right? So this looks like a pretty easy question from the get-go of getting an answer of 1. Now, the reason I wanted to show you this question is actually because there is a second way to do this, right? Observe that whenever we have a fraction like this, we can do, because we're just multiplying anyway, we can actually break this up into negative 4.4 over 11 times negative 5 over 2. Now, if this is a bit disorienting, I would encourage you to go in the reverse direction, which will lead you to here. If you were asked to, let me make the arrow a bit better there. The reverse direction would give you this. If you were asked to evaluate this, right, would you not just multiply the numerator? You would do negative 4.4 times negative 5, which gives you this, and the denominator 11 times 2, which gives you this, right? So I'm just going forwards and then going in reverse to break this question up. And I'm going to show you why I did this in a second. Let's just erase all these extra arrows and stuff here. Okay? Now, it's actually pretty easy to do this. So if you think about it, here we have negative 4.4, which is kind of like 44, divided by 11. So we definitely have a 4 here, right? Because, of course, 44 divided by 11 is equal to 4. And that gives you that, which is super cool. But again, it's negative 4.4. So what I would encourage you to do is put a 0.4 right there, right? And that basically goes to show that, hey, it's technically not 4, it's actually 0.4, right? And of course, this answer is negative. Let's throw in our negative sign, right? On the right-hand side, we have 5 over 2. 5 over 2 is 2.5, so times negative 2.5. Right? And if you go ahead and evaluate this, you would get the exact same thing, right? So then the two negatives cancel out. 0.4 times 0.4 times 25. We can just multiply both of those using our dividing with decimals trick and saying this is negative 4 times 25. Right? But then, of course, we have to go 2 decimals back, which gives us an answer of 100, which is technically just 1. Right? So negative 4 times 25 is not 1, but again, we have basically, we've moved this over, so that's 2 extra decimals there. So negative 4 times 25 gives us an answer of 100, but then when we move our decimal back, we get an answer of 1. And this one answer matches this one answer up here. So the point of showing you all of this extra work is that basically you can make your life a lot easier by using these different methods. You know, in this case, the second method turned out to be a lot more work. But it can be the case that this method is easier and that this method is bad. right? So it just depends on the style of the question. And the faster you can understand and you can do these questions, honestly, the better it is. So just pick the way that works the most for you, right? As a backup, we can actually check the answer that we're given here. So I'm going to go ahead and take out my calculator, and I encourage you to do the same. So here it is. First, I'm just going to plug in the original question. So negative 4.4 times negative 5. I'm just copying exactly what I see, 11 times 2. And I do get an answer of 1. There you are. And I can also check my second answer there by doing negative 0.4 times negative 2.5. And once again, I get my exact same answer of 1, right? So if you're comfortable moving decimals around, I encourage you to try the second way. If not, the first way works fine too. Again, whatever floats your boat. And hopefully that makes the answer pretty clear. Okay, so the rest of the class is structured the same way. Here is example 2, and on question number 2, once again, I encourage you to solve this without a calculator first. I know it looks a little intimidating, but we'll go over how to do it, so don't worry. And then, of course, at the end, check your answer using a calculator. I will see you in 5 minutes. Good luck. All right, so that is time. Let me just grab the pen here. Okay, so once again, unsurprising, there's a couple different ways to do this problem. I'm going to show you both ways, and you can decide which one works better for you. But let's go ahead and tackle this. So the first sort of part has us dealing with the sign, right? So we can see quickly that we have this negative sign, this one, and this one. So we have three negative signs. Which means our answer is also negative. Right? Now, once that's out of the way, we can pretty much ignore the presence of these negative signs and we can just work through this problem like it was any problem. Now, because of your first 4 grades, you do have some experience with the relocation property. So I know we haven't officially done relocation yet, but let's try and apply some of that knowledge. So the first way is to just use relocation. Right? So now we're thinking, okay, what number divides by 5? What number divides by 6? Immediately I see that 20 is divisible by 5. So let's use that. So we have 20 divide by 5. Notice how I'm not writing the negative. It's no longer needed. That gives us a running total of 4. Again, you don't have to write the 4. I'm writing it just to show you, and so it's there. And then we're thinking, okay, how do I divide by 6? 9 doesn't divide by 6, 8 doesn't divide by 6, but we can multiply 4 by 9 and get 36, which is then divisible by 6. So we just go ahead and directly multiply this by 9. We get a running total of 36. We can divide this by 6 now, and we get an answer of 6. And I skipped an important part, which is to check off the numbers we've already used. So 20 is there, 5 is there, 9 is there, and 6 is there. The last thing that's left is the 8, so multiply by 8. Again, there's no positive and negative signs. We already decided that our final answer is going to be negative, and this gives us an answer equal to 48. This is our final answer. So relocation does a pretty good job of getting you your answer, but you can also use a second way, which is by making everything prime numbers. Right? So anything we're multiplying, let's make a little border here. Anything we're multiplying will go on the top. Anything we're dividing will go on the bottom, right? So we have, first of all, let's remove these check marks here. We don't need them anymore. Right? And now we're going to go for sort of inserting these prime numbers wherever we see them. So first we have an 8. 8 is being multiplied, so it'll be on the top. 8's also equal to 2 cubed, right? So this 2 cubed and the 8 over here are the same thing. Maybe I'll use a laser pointer to point that out a bit better. So this 8 here and this 2 cubed here are the same thing. Let's go ahead and do that with everything now, and I'm going to use a laser pointer at the end to highlight it all. 6 is being divided. It goes at the bottom, and it is equal to 2 times 3. There we go. 9 is 3 squared. It's being multiplied, so it goes on the top. My bad. 5 is being divided. It is also prime, so we're just going to put that at the bottom. And 20 is being multiplied, so we're going to put that on here. 20 is equal to 4 times 5. 4 is 2 squared, so times 2 squared. Whoops. Times 5 on the top. And now is everybody's favorite part, just crossing things off. So let's go ahead and do that quickly. So I have here a 5 and a 5. I also have here 2 times 3. There's a 2 squared times 3 squared on the top, so I'm going to use both of them and cross these out and leave a 2 times 3 on the bottom. Right? So in this case, we get 2 cubed from here times 2 times 3. 2 cubed is 8. 8 times 2 is 2 times 3 is equal to 6. 8 times 6 is equal to 48. Alternatively, 2 cubed is equal to, of course, 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 16 times 3 is also 48. So this gives us also an answer of 48, which, of course, matches our original answer of 48. So again, the whole point of doing this is to show you that there are multiple ways to arrive at the exact same answer, none of which is better. They're both correct. In fact, there is also a third way, which is, cheating, which is by using a calculator. Let's go ahead and do that quickly. So I have negative 8 divide by -6 times 9 divide by -5 times 20. And this gives us the exact answer we were looking for, which is -48. So there is one small mistake in the work we've done so far. I told you at the beginning the answer was negative, which is right here, but I forgot about this. So this is -48, and this is also -48. Okay, so luckily we did our calculator, which is our third way, right? Which better guarantees that we get the right answer. So now, of course, -48 is absolutely the correct answer, and we have confirmed that using our 3 ways of calculating this question. Again, pick whichever way works for you. We don't know yet whether you'll be allowed to use calculators on the day of, so definitely become familiar with all 3 methods. That way you can decide and pick and choose which one is best for you. All right, example 3. This is an exponents related question. Once again, you get 5 minutes, and once again, I will see you on the other side. Take care. Alright, so that is time. Let us go ahead and take this up. Now, there's really only one way to do this question, so there's going to be a lot less flip-flopping, but that is quite alright. Let's get started. So as we know with exponents, right, it really matters whether the exponent is in the bracket or not. So in the case of the first question, we have -2 to the power of 4, right? Let's actually just do this on the side quickly so I can show you something. If we have -2 to the power of 4, right, you would think, oh, this is 16 because -2 times -2 times -2 times -2 has 4 negative signs which all cancel out. But that is not the case because the negative sign is not in the brackets, right? So this is equal to just -16. This negative sign simply carries over. But if it was -2 in brackets to the power of 4, this would actually equal to 16. So that's a very important distinction to make, and we're going to use this distinction in actually making the solution of this problem. So as we said, -2 to the power of 4 without brackets is simply -16. So I have that ready to go here. Plus 2 cubed, nothing fishy about that, plus 8. Negative, so we'll put the negative in first. And then we have -2 to the power of 4, so we have this thing, which is the exact same thing as this thing, which gives us 16. So we can just pop the 16 in place, right? So this 16 is not negative because we actually got a negative answer from the whole exponent thing. It's negative here because of this negative sign over here, right? So you've got to keep track of your negatives in this manner, okay? I'm just going to erase all that extra stuff now. That was all just to show you what's going on here as well. And so now we just have to finish this off. Plus, we're going to put the plus in first, sure. And then we have -2 squared. Of course, the negative carries on. This is technically -4 over here. And then we can quickly rewrite this to make this only one sign. So -16 plus 8 minus 16 plus, minus 4. Right? -16 minus 16 gives us an answer of -32. -32 minus 4 again gives us -36. And -36 plus 8 gives us -28. Right? There's obviously multiple ways to solve that. You can also quickly do +8 and then -4. Actually, let's do it that way. So, the best way to solve this, let's redo this quickly. So -28 is the correct answer, but I just want to show you something. So if we put at the beginning 8 minus 4 minus 16 minus 16, maybe this is a bit more intuitive, right? So 8 minus 4 is equal to +4. +4 minus 16 gives us to -12. So we have -12 minus 16, which again, of course, gives us the -28 I had before. That is the final answer. The second way, I guess, is using a calculator. I've in advance already plugged in everything, so you can just quickly see the final answer here. And you can see that once we do everything, we do get an answer of -28, and that is the correct answer. So again, this is more a lesson on how to keep track of your signs. This is a sign numbers unit, so hopefully by the end of this video, you'll be the expert. And speaking of the end, this is the end. So that is it for today, and that's also it for the entire sign numbers unit. Go ahead and do any remaining evaluations and then take a well-deserved break before starting the next unit. See you in the next video.